Alright, so, last episode picked up at about 10:30 in the morning, standing at the base of the Wormspire, the great castle that sort of like the focal point of Drakesburg. The group head towards the docks, where they see ships from all over the Sword Coast. They recognize the heraldry from literally all over. Name a big city that has water access. There was probably some sort of representation. There's a brief trip to get pastries from Melwyn's Pastries, not to be confused with Delwyn's Pastries, which is over the road and less busy. The Smoky picked up a dropped pouch, which has still not been opened. And while there's some sort of meandering in the docks, Hand of Aegis see someone get surrounded by an agitated weaver and several guards. You see the weaver sort of like start to bioluminesce, and what looked like a sort of lump on its back turns to this giant sail-like fin. Those who were more connected to the arcane kind of felt the air get thicker as the weave in the area was disrupted by the creature. And then the suspect in the incident was clapped in metal mittens of some sort and led away. And after that, let's see. Oh, there was a discussion where Smokey's trying to figure out a little bit about the weirdness from the rest of the crew. And Sylvaris goes into interrogation mode, starts asking Smokey a lot of questions. Smokey is evasive, not particularly chary. Bador thinks someone was looking in the general direction of the group, but loses sight. Can't tell. And eventually, the Hand of Aegis head over to Great Green after meandering through the streets a little bit. And they meet back up with Tedda and Colas in the shade of a weeping willow. And there's further conversation. Discussion about the Hand of Aegis. And discussions about the weave worms. And Tedda and Colas decide to delay their intended investigation of portals beneath the city. There's a discussion of Bador catching sight of someone potentially watching them, and Tedda makes the suggestion that it could just be local groups keeping an eye on outsiders, not necessarily a threat. And then there's a big discussion about all the secrets that everyone seems to be keeping. And finally, Smokey is made aware of the fact that the Hand of Aegis know, and Tedda and Colas know, that a few weeks ago, Drakesburg did not exist. There's a discussion of the rift. Throughout, Bador does not join in and just eats, puffing through the last of his pipe weed as he does. I say secrets were shared. Smokey did not share his secret. And the session ends at around 3 p.m. As a snooty festival preparer comes over and kicks the group out of the park so that they can make ready for the day of deliverance. So we pick up 3 p.m. on the 30th of Marpena. with the Hand of Aegis, along with Smoky, Coalesce, and Teta being requested to leave the shade of the Weeping Willow and head out of the Great Green area so that the preparations can continue.
Did we finish our lunch at least?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You'd sort of eaten and were just in discussion at this point. So yes, the food was had. Do not fear. But I appreciate you checking. That is an important detail.
Yeah.
So yes, food has been had, a little bit of drink, and yeah, what would you like to do as you were getting kicked out of Great Green?
Did we just get slightly ushered, or do we just like, are we on our way out, not being followed or anything?
So the snooty guy has kind of turned and headed back towards where you can see that the sort of the bleachers were being installed, slightly further away. He did have a couple of guards who had headed over with him. They didn't really approach, but when he turned to leave, they're just standing there watching you guys. So you haven't been like physically ushered or anything, but you're being given stink eye.
Okay.
I guess Eska might walk over to one of them quickly.
All right.
And
do that.
or both of them, I suppose. And
I mean, they're next to each other, so sure.
and say, "What time do the festivities start?"
One of them, sort of a dour-looking halfling, dark hair, dark skin, very sort of unamused face. Just says, "Which bit were you talking about?" There's a lot.
I don't know.
Well, the hunt starts at dawn, as always. The parade will probably be mid-morning. Thankfully, I didn't draw that. And then the actual, and he sort of gestures behind him. The stuff over there, that'll be after lunch. And then, once the sun sets, they'll do the fire display.
Oh, lovely. The hunt sounds curious.
You did I'm trying to remember. Did you say something about being new?
Well, we certainly, as a group, didn't give much impression that we knew what was going on.
Fair. He said, right, out of towners. So the hunt is, it's like clues and maps and stuff, and you can find things hidden throughout the city. Some of it's for kids, some of it's for grown-ups. You just gotta be in the right place at the right time.
Oh, fascinating. Prizes?
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to, simulate the finding the dragon's hoard.
Ah, I see. Well, thank you. Make sure to come and check it out.
Good.
And she will flash him as endearing a smile as she can, and then wander back to the group.
All right.
I guess she'll just explain it all.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
In my brain, they were setting up for later in today, so it's good to find out that it's happening tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah. Which is good, because, none of us will be here. We'll all be back safe, Delver.
That's true, that was the plan, wasn't it?
What could possibly go wrong? And side note, it sounds kind of like the hunt is like an Easter egg thing.
Or a scavenger hunt.
Yeah, scavenger
thing.
hunt, maybe.
Combo, yeah.
Yeah.
I just imagine them being little dragon eggs instead of bunny eggs.
So... So, what's the plan for this afternoon?
I, for one, thought the event was later today.
This is very disappointing.
I mean, but do we really want to hang around for something called the Day of Deliverance? It sounds
On
a
that
bit
note-
ominous.
Eska mentioned that at the end of last session, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
she had heard people talking about it, so she threw it out there.
Okay, and then yeah, with Claire saying that, and
Over by the statue,
he points to the large metallic dragon.
the placard at the bottom said the deliverer.
And he's got a. He kind of like has this. He's like staring over at the statue, and
Not certain any of this is related to the prophecy that we read in the Cobalt Cave.
It might be useful information to know, though, right? Seems very pertinent history to the island.
I am intrigued. But that is for tomorrow. The rest of our day, your question remains pertinent. What next?
Well, we are supposed to only be here today. So, what are we supposed to... Do we need... What do you guys think about tomorrow?
Do you think, Captain Adard would give us another day?
Smokey kind of scratches his head. Does Smokey know what schedule is for?
There was vagueness.
Okay.
In part because initially Adard hadn't anticipated needing to repair the damage to the ship. Because obviously, you know, there were some holes and
Right.
bits and pieces. Stuff happened. And so that was unanticipated.
Perhaps we'd be glad for another day.
It might be good to check in and just see where things are coming along.
Well, should we not discover anything of importance today, an additional day might be beneficial. There are plenty of secrets that remain.
as he looks over at Smokey and mostly at Smokey.
Smokey just kind of looks to the side, not making eye contact.
And Sylvaris
with a bit of a sheepish grin.
Sylvaris takes a couple steps towards Smokey, and he approaches Smokey, like,
Ooh.
fairly close, and he's...
Which reminds me, we divulged some of our secrets. It is your turn.
Smokey takes a couple steps back. What secrets do you want to know?
Huh? You know our mystery. You yourself have mysteries surrounding you. Why you are here, your quest.
I am trying to find well, I am on a mission from my clan to find a cure for the illness that seems to have befallen them.
And just because, Tavares is trying to judge the sense of truthfulness in Smokey's words, whether or not they're shadowed or still hiding something, or if that felt true.
Alrighty. Let's have roll insight, and then
Do you want to go directly to you?
yeah, go on then. And then
I don't know what is going on.
Angie, if you can just roll either deception or persuasion, and just whisper the result to me, and tell me which one it is. Okay, I got that. Can anyone else see what Smokey typed?
No.
Okay.
Can I trust everyone
Roll an insight
except
on
Eli?
Eli.
Yeah, I don't see it.
I've got them on my side, Phil. You can't trust any of us.
Ay. All right, and which one was that?
I mean, they're both the same, but I guess persuasion.
Okay. So the short answer, Eli. Silverius can tell that Smokey is shaken. The step back told him that already. It's tricky. You haven't spent a lot of time together. You... I think you would... Hold on. Let me just check something real quick. You can just say yes or no, Angie.
Apparently I can't type though. Okay.
Okay. So you would like, this is clearly an intimidated cat right now. You think, by and large, that was probably accurate.
Okay.
It's possible you're not getting the full story, but in fact, you're pretty sure you're not getting the full story.
Truth feeling to elements of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's definitely a lot more going on, but broad strokes, Smokey's looking for a cure.
Okay. So all right, he'll nod to that and
Well, certainly a noble cause. Taking care of those we care for.
Deep.
And that leads you randomly, or do you have a destination in particular?
No destination in particular. I am just trying to figure it out as I go.
If there was something we each had in common, that would be it.
Indeed.
and he turns his head to the side and he's
My mind is at ease for now. I've seen that you are capable. And in the right moment, you are useful.
That is a very high compliment from Silverius.
he smiles.
Oh boy. Thanks.
It's probably the nicest thing Severus has ever said.
You're useful.
What are you other two going to do? Did you have any thoughts about the afternoon?
Well, now that I know about the lizards, I'm thinking we need to figure out another way of exploring under the city. We were just gonna probably use some magical assistance to help us sneak. That feels a lot less safe all of a sudden. Right. So, I think we need to maybe do a little light exploration and maybe try and find some of the right seedier folks. And see what we can figure out.
If it helps, I was wondering about going to maybe one of the inns. I thought that might be a good place to get some information. Also, maybe useful for you.
Inns are always a great place to find information. Indeed. Like we already did.
Indeed.
Well, straight there now? When were you thinking to go talk to your ship friend?
I don't know if this is a good idea, but with like eight of us going into an inn might draw a bit of attention. Perhaps I hate to say it, but a split? A temporary split?
You know what they say about splitting the party.
This is never a good idea.
Saves time?
The gods tend to hate it.
I don't know how to be inconspicuous with you, Severius.
It's like his hands kind of go like, what? As he looks down to Bardur and looks down to Claire. Down to Teta. Mostly down to everybody, except for Smokey.
My neck hurts when I look up.
It was just a thought. I don't really know how to approach it.
Honestly, I had considered that we do form perhaps 2 smaller parties. Partly from a conspicuousness, but with those
What are they called? Oh,
yeah, weave worms. Should something happen, it does not happen to all of us. Even if we are just in adjacent proximity.
Yes, there's probably things that could be done. Other places to go. I know we talked about seeing what kind of wares might be available over here too, as there was limited in Delsma.
DM question.
Yes.
I know we came across the fancy weapon shop. Has
Yes.
there been, like, I guess, any other just weapon shops kind of throughout the city, like scattered, or was it kind of like in that one little spot that we've personally come across so far? Or is there, like, signage, advertisement? Like, a weird question, I guess.
Yeah, I know. There are definitely like other places of business for sure.
Okay.
Scattered throughout. You because you haven't sort of had a chance to really gauge where all of the best shopping is yet. Obviously, you know to an extent that the docks are probably going to have a fair amount of commercial shenanigans because docks, stuff's coming in, stuff's going out, yada yada yada. So you would expect that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, you don't really know sort of like where the better areas to shop are. So you've probably seen the occasional sign for different things. If you want, you can give me a history check for a specific type of store to see if you can remember seeing one on your travels. And I'll tell you if you saw one.
I'm specifically rolling for, because the thought is in Silvarius's head that if something goes awry, just options available.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking back, 9 on from where we were.
Gotcha. Well, I think that roll got whispered, so I don't think it's going to show up for everybody. But that's a 9 history.
Oops.
That's right. So you remember there being some shops in Southwark, which is sort of like the ironically north area where you came in. You remember the one, obviously you remember the one overpriced place you went in that seemed to mostly sell overly ornate things. You have a vague recollection that there may have been somewhere else there, but you don't remember name, you don't remember which street it was on. But there may have been some other sort of, maybe another weapon-y type place down there.
Okay.
So, how are you going to split?
Did everybody seem okay with that?
Yeah, is everyone like
Fair.
I don't want to just assume.
Well, should we go talk to make sure we're going to stay an extra day together first and then split up?
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Probably.
So we know if, like, we're going to be meeting in the city to stay, or are we going back to the boat?
So, yes, because there was a lot of damage to the hold, which is probably where you would be sleeping if you were going to sleep on the ship. It's not a great location. So you would think that it would probably not be, it's going to be sopping wet and possibly breezy, depending on how well the rest of the holes were fixed. Claire did a good job of patching up a lot of them, but not perfectly, because she couldn't find all of the splinters to mend the hole properly. So that there's still some holes that needed to be patched and so on and so forth. So it's probably not somewhere you'd want to be sleeping.
So if we do stay, would everyone prefer to stay in the city? We may get more information, but slightly more dangerous. It can't be more uncomfortable, that's for sure.
I mean, Esker's happy sleeping on top of the ship. But that's,
Smokey
you
would
know,
also be fine to curl up somewhere on the ship.
I know some of you guys like rooms and, a roof.
Rooms are nice, but the farther Claire can be away from the scary magic lizard things, she's happy.
That's
And there was the Cup and Rat in Dark Orchard. Obviously, did not offer rooms. That's not to say that there aren't other places outside the walls as well. And from your brief experience and also from the little that you've picked up that the weaveworms seem to be operating within the city walls. Looks like I don't think you saw any Drake's wardens beyond the walls.
okay. So Varius's vote is not in the city, but preferably, he does want to stay somewhere where a little bit of information might be able to be gathered. Was this Teta
Yeah,
and
that
Colus's
works.
first stay also, like same night? Or were they here before us?
Yeah, they traveled over on the same day as you.
Okay, so they have just as much info as us. Okay.
Yeah, they just beat the storm. Basically. I mean, so, let's just say, I know I did see, a couple of places, inside the city walls where we could get a drink. Have a knack for finding such things. So I saw a couple in the docks. One near the gate we came through. I was pretty sure I saw one when on the road earlier when we were coming in. So those could all be options. It just depends what we're looking for. I mean, I agree. I like the idea of being outside of the away from the sort of gestures to be like a lizard and stick his tongue out a little bit. Away from them. So, intel might want to gather inside the city. Might want to gather outside the city too, mind. But as far as sleeping arrangements, hopefully we can find something outside. I don't know how far we have to go. I know there's areas further up the river too, beyond where we came in. So there's probably other places as well.
Well, then never mind. We might as well wait till closer to the end of the day. Plus, I don't know that I'll wait again to come back in.
Because we just kind of came in with the crowd, didn't we?
I mean, you kind of were the crowd.
We were the crowd. Oh,
I mean, that
it was like a...
there were some people ahead of you, some people behind you, but yes.
Okay.
The biggest issue was that Cassette kind of smiled too much.
Yeah, for me it was a little.
But hey, at least you found out you got robbed during that. That was good.
Yeah. Well,
Has Cosette said that, or is it all kept to herself?
oh no, she shared it when she realized.
Okay. Oh,
I
sorry,
guess it was
forgot.
right after, right? Kind of patting her stuff down. She realized it was missing.
Yeah. I mean, you don't know when it was taken, obviously. You just know that
Right.
you don't have it anymore.
Wait, was that the one that had all the money?
No, I was just I lost my
Wait, not our coin purse.
not all my bags, just my
The
my
calligraphy
kit, my
set, right?
calligraphy set.
Yeah.
Has everyone checked their pockets since? By the way, I checked my
Has everyone
pockets.
checked
Phil.
their pockets? Okay. Roll a D100.
Oh God.
Oh.
What have you done?
Never check your pocket.
Don't ask questions you don't
know,
want the answer to.
I'm fine.
Everyone roll a D100.
Eli.
I'm not. I refuse.
Thank you. You know, if we don't roll, he can't hurt us.
No, that's 100% not true. You just don't find out.
Oh man. Oh, what is going
Oh
on?
dear.
I mean, I don't know. My roll 20's acting up. It's just so slow. I don't think I
Mine
can roll
too.
a 120 or like roll a D20 or a D100.
Mm-hmm.
Two. I got a 13.
48.
65.
I can't drive.
Do I really have to roll, Phil?
65.
You can lose something else.
Roll right in the middle. I gotta be safe.
A 2?
57?
As far as you can tell. Silveris, nothing is missing.
Okay.
Eska, nothing is missing. Claire, nothing's missing. Smokey, nothing is missing.
Phew.
Butter, nothing is missing. Cassette,
Oh no.
nothing
Rolled
is
a
missing.
2. A very great, just a great number.
As far as you can all tell, nothing is missing. Except for the already missing calligraphy set.
I don't like that he said, as far as you can tell, about 14 times during that.
So, where to?
So if we're holding off on going to talk to Adard, was there any sort of notable objections to doing a split, even if it's brief? Just to sort of keep our profile lower?
Under one condition. We need to have a rendezvous point. Should we not be able to find each other for whatever reason?
Yes.
Well, and like, what kind of split are we talking here? Like how many?
50-50. That's my vote.
Yeah, that'd be my vote too, I think.
Because
Are we an even number?
We're just trusting these strangers. We're just throwing some of our group members with these strangers.
I was thinking
Hetty grins
50-50 and those
pleasantly.
two.
I will say, Eska does seem pretty trusting of them. But, I mean, that's kind of, you know, relatively
in her
speaking.
nature.
Yeah, she
Before
doesn't...
the end of the day, we'll have adopted them for sure.
Yeah.
Probably. I
Yeah,
mean,
this
it's
is-
one thing talking to them, but I don't want to go on my own with them or anything like that.
Yeah, this is more Claire is definitely, along with Eska, more on the trusting side. This is more OOC, like yeah,
I-
like
I
how
was
are we
thinking, yeah, like-
splitting? Because I mean, we've already been wandering around this town as a party of 6.
And we've had eyes on us though.
Yeah, so they already know we're here.
Yeah,
What
but
good,
like
what good is splitting up gonna do?
it's gonna make their eyes go in 2 different
Who's they?
directions.
Yeah, I
You don't
mean,
even know who's
less-
watching.
Less
It-
conspicuous with
The-
the big event coming, like more people may be traveling in groups. I don't
yeah. I mean,
This
my
is a
thought
big
was going
traveling
into going into a local inn to try and get information as a 8 party of 8 sort of gives off quite an intimidating vibe. Was my real thought
They
on it.
don't have to come with us. It can be a 80-20 split. Those
That's
two can
true.
go off and we can stay together.
That's true. I at this point though, if I'm going into an inn to try and gather information, I more want them with me than Silverius.
Or we just stagger our entrances into the inn. We don't go
And
in
don't sort of hang out
in
together.
the inn as a group. And we don't sit together. But we're all still together.
I mean, that
Like-
could work.
Just go in and sit at opposite sides of the tavern.
Are we overthinking this? Do we see a lot of other groups of people, like varied groups of people?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
in a city like that.
How many other
what's
brown
the
cloaked
vibe
adventuring
of the-
parties do we see?
Well, you know,
I mean, there's a fair amount of people milling around, certainly. You see groups of various sizes. I would say probably not typically 8. It's probably a little larger than the norm. You're probably more seeing like 3s, 4s, 5s. For groups. So 8 probably would stand out, obviously. Silverius does stand out. Although, you would say that in general, Drakesburg has a more cosmopolitan vibe than Delzimer, which tends to be very predominantly sort of human halfling and smattering of dwarfs. And then there's like a scattering of elves and a scattering of, well, there's one half orc, now 2, I guess. You know, generally speaking, it's not very diverse in terms of species. Whereas Drakesburg, you've already seen that there's a little bit more mixture.
I guess with all the ships coming in from all around the world.
Right, exactly. It sort of by default just caters to a wider crowd. So, yeah.
Cater.
Yes, I realized when I said it. So I would say at this point you probably have already seen a few Dragonborn. Silverius is less obvious than usual.
Phew.
Yeah, I mean, we're on an island that shouldn't be here for the first time, in a place where we're not allowed to do magic. Like, can't even like send a mystical mind message to each other if we're in trouble, kind of magic.
That's
Like-
the rendezvous point idea.
Yeah, but still, like, it just. But well, I mean, if you're in trouble, you can't get to the rendezvous point, can you?
No, but like, if we got separated, like, I don't. If something were to happen, I was thinking if we all went like running off together, we're still like together. Was it the fox that chases two rabbits doesn't catch either type thing, you know?
Like if half the party got caught, the other half of the party would still be able to mount a rescue, kind of deal.
If something happened, I could be overthinking.
Yeah, but we're just planning to like just go listen, right? We're not mounting a heist at the moment.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Together it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we could do the entering as different groups thing. That might make it easier.
Like, let them two go in first. And then, I don't know, our 6 could go in as a group. I mean, 6 doesn't seem like that big of a group in a, town that's about to throw a big festival.
Let's just call and see if they even take reservations. Maybe they don't, so
Yeah.
doesn't matter how big
I
the
mean,
table is.
exactly.
The noble background kicking in.
I mean, I think Eska would try and I do think she would, partially from this is the noble background thing is an interesting point, because partially from not coming from that background and partially just from previous experience with Silvarius, I think she would want to enter separately to Silvarius in the hopes that she might have less problems establishing rapport with the locals, because he sort of gives off, I feel like he gives off a bit of a police vibe.
He's a narc.
Yeah, yeah.
One police.
All right, so let's condense this conversation back down into characters.
Bardor shrugs his shoulders.
Perhaps we could go to one of these inns and enter in a couple of groups. Maybe our 2 companions could go in together. Maybe a few of us more rough and ready could go in together, and then the fancy pants could go in together. That would look normal. I don't need to say who the fancy pants are, do I?
Who are the fancy pants?
She points at Silvarius, Claire, and Cosette.
Yeah, because I raised her.
I grew up on a farm.
Yes, but I mean, you've been to school. You're a bit more put together. I mean, I look at you and Bardur next to each other. That's 2 different dwarfs.
And how am I not put together?
You're in the fancy pants group.
And you place me as equal to this farmer.
Oh dear.
Literally can't win.
One doesn't want to be fancy pants, one wants to be more fancy pants.
Cards and Ted just sort of look at each other and say, "Yeah, we don't mind going in together, that's fine.
Oh, what
We just need
a relief.
We know we're not fancy pants. We just need to pick an inn. And then you guys can figure out
which ones
which
did
of
you
you's
like
wearing the
look at?
pants."
You said you saw a couple of the dogs?
Aye, those will be rough and ready. Almost certainly.
Is that the name?
No,
Okay,
no, I just mean they'll be crappy.
nice.
That's just my preferred kind, to be honest.
Yes.
If you're looking for fancy pants, you probably need to stay, I don't know, either around the castle here or over by the floating house over there. That seems like fancy pants. Docks tends to be common as muck.
We've always had a problem with this in our group.
Bardor wonders if he joined the wrong party.
You got Duardi to thank for that.
Yeah, right.
When we come across him, you just slap him. He's like, "What the?"
All right, well, why don't we head towards the dock? And then, if you want, we can go first. We'll find one we like the look of, we'll go in. You guys can just follow on in afterwards.
Sounds good.
Lead the way.
Right. And so, Carlos and Tedda head off. At a fairly brisk pace. You see Tedda's having to go kind of almost double time to keep up with Carlos's longer strides.
Really like happy to be away from us now after all that nonsense.
Roll an insight check for the back of their heads.
Teen.
They are walking sprightly. So,
Well,
they
that's
don't
fair,
seem
I suppose.
they're not unhappy. Body language. You probably studied some body language as you were growing up. They seem. They generally so far have seemed moderately chipper throughout. You wouldn't say they're looking any more or less chipper than before. If anything, Coas probably is walking a little faster than usual. Whether that's because he's happy to be away from you or happy to be heading towards beer, that's a harder question. But yeah, so you head over in the general direction of the docks. Not quite back to where the cask maker was, where the incident with the weave worm took place. Instead, it's just a little side street off from the main docks. And you see Coas and Tedda turn into a single-story, sort of half timber building. Looks like there's even on the outside, you can see like there's multiple shields that are sort of like stuck to the outside of the wall above the door and windows. Yeah, they head inside. You can see there is a little sign that's swinging that just labels it as the Dockside Ale House. Are you heading inside?
I'm sorry, did you say they went in?
Yes, they've gone.
Already?
They've
Okay.
disappeared. Gone forever.
Yeah, no. Well, then I'm going. I'm going in. So, yeah.
Okay, who's entering with Bador?
Eska's gonna enter.
I'll wait.
Yeah, you're stuck with us, Team Fancy Pants.
I guess I can go in with them.
Okay. So as you head in, there's a the fairly sort of traditional setup. You've got a bar on the back wall. To the right as you walk in, there's a nice big fire burning. You notice, interestingly, the wall, like where the door is. Can't say, is that the front wall? I guess we'll call that the front wall. On the inside, has a bunch of weapon racks, and there's like a lot of pole arms. Don't look like they've seen use in probably years. But an assortment of pole arms, pikes, halberds, glaives, all sorts, that are resting in these weapon racks. They're sort of like attached to the entire front wall. You see, Colas and Teta have just taken up seats at the bar itself, and appear to be in conversation with a halfling behind the bar. And there's probably a good dozen or so tables, about half of which are occupied, and seat sort of 4 to 6 comfortably.
See, even the tables are made for
So
six
where
people.
where are Team Rough and Ready going?
How long are we waiting to go in? What's our stagger?
Well, I would imagine Colas and Ted have probably only been in there like 30 seconds, and then it sounded like Bardor was going in, because Bardor gonna Bardor.
Through the bar door?
Indeed, through the bar door.
I guess seeing as they're at the bar, Eska will motion over to a table that's near some other occupied tables and say, Baidu, do you want to grab drinks and join us?
Yep.
And then
So I guess I'll wander off and get drinks.
Alrighty. So you head over to the bar, and you can see Colas and Ted have a drink in front of them each. Seems to be something very dark in front of Colas in a like a pint glass, and then like a half pint of probably ale in front of Teta. Can't very easily hear what they're talking about right now, but it's general vibe seems to be just a little bit of light banter.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're talking, or sorry, as you're sort of like vaguely watching them, a dwarf suddenly pops up from there's a trap door that's behind the bar that you couldn't really see, but suddenly this dwarf sort of like pops up in front of you. He's a old male dwarf with long gray hair and a thick gray beard, and he says, "Well, what can I get you?"
I will probably gonna start with a round over at the table over there. If do you have anything kind of fancy? I got some folks with me that kind of go that way. They might something a little bit more fancy than my fare.
He sort of scrunches his face a little bit. Like, well, I got a nice pair of cider in. Think that'll do it? Scratch the itch.
That'll do.
What about yourself?
What's your standard?
Well, of course, right now everyone's getting ready for the festivities, so Traditionally, we're expected to serve the potentate's brew, so we've got that on stock.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Right. Pints all round.
Yeah. How much will it be?
Ooh. Call it, call it, 3 silver.
Just nods and puts 3 on the bar.
And, he quickly pours up 3 drinks for you. The cider, perry, I guess you could call it. It's, very, very pale, bubbly. The, potentate's brew is, it's very rich amber color, and it almost seems to swirl without any motion, like without anything sort of like affecting the cup once it's placed down, or the glass, I guess. It almost feels like the drink is just kind of swirling there. You also note that the drink you get is served in a commemorative, though not like it's not intended to go with you kind of thing, but a commemorative glass. It just says the day of deliverance on it, and there's a stamp of the Drakesburg coat of arms.
Oh man. Well, nod at him and then head back to the table.
All right.
Hello?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought I lost it for a second.
Oh,
Sorry.
nope. Sorry. So, okay. So you head back over. So you've got Eska and Smokey sitting there with you. How long are Team Fancy Pants waiting?
I wanted just enough time to kind of look around, make sure that we weren't, or see if I can see if we're still being observed.
Give me a perception check.
And are there also, I guess, lumped in with that, and this may just be obvious if there were weave worms hanging out? Perception.
Yes, that would indeed be obvious.
Natural 20. 21.
Okay. You looking around, you can see down at the far end of the street you're on, but street, alley, it's kind of a bit of both. There is a couple of guards walking past with a weaveworm. Looking down the other end of the alley, you don't see any right now. There's no sort of like guards in the alley that you're in. So, you know, not like you're surrounded by them or anything. I will say you do, with a 21, you do catch what looks like a halfling, just sort of like beyond. So the it's kind of like a crossroads, where you were looking at first, where you see the guards walk past with a weaveworm, and like on the other side of the road, you do see a halfling who seems to be looking at you. You just kind of briefly catch eyes with them.
And just kind of looks like any one of the regular other townsfolk.
Yeah, I mean, they're not like, not in like plate mail or anything. They're just, wearing sort of clothes. Just happen to be looking at you when you happen to look at them.
Oh, okay. Well, if it seemed like that, then
I mean, that might be what it was.
Might be what. Okay, just noted for now. I'm gonna try to remember that halfling in case I see him again.
Okay. You put them into your memory. Sort of like light brown, curly hair, fairly light skin, and a bit of a frown.
A bit of a frown?
Bit of a frown.
Okay, not happy.
That could just be their face. It's hard to know. Resting frown face. Definitely a possibility.
I'll just, all right. I'll look at the other 2 and 3. As if waiting for them to talk or move.
Claire looks around for the third person.
Yeah, I think Cassette just kind of motions to go in. Kind of the whole thing's a little silly. She's like being hesitant just so she doesn't like get in trouble, but like, all right, can we go in the public restaurant now?
Yeah, Claire just looks nervous. Like,
You're like not nervous about the situation, but nervous about like her own party members. Like
she's scared she's gonna mess this up somehow. Like, this has now turned into a situation to mess up potentially, instead of just going to a tavern.
Claire, make a wisdom saving throw.
Will it let me? Come on. Oh,
Yikes.
yeah. That's my best saving throw too. I have a 6 in that.
That was a
Yeah, +6 is a good save. What was on the dice?
A lovely little 1.
Righto.
So a 7.
So, Cassette, you head in. I might just call it a 1. It's all right. So, Cassette, you head in, and Claire, you sort of follow in behind, and you're so focused on not messing this up that you completely pay no attention and realize that Cassette has stopped, try and figure out where to sit, and you just walk right into the back of Cassette, nearly knocking both of you over. You're like a foot inside the doorway as this happens. I guess I might need a dex saving throw from Cassette.
Okay.
Oh no.
Question: Does my I don't get like a I don't need to adjust my saving throws for not wearing armor.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. +1, here we go. 11 total.
You manage to, you're standing there, you're like, okay, I see them at the bar. You look to your right and you see your 3 friends have just set up shop over there. And just as you're processing that, Claire just comes plowing into the back of you, and something hits you in the back of the knee. And for a second, you think you're going to tumble because all of your weight was on that leg. Thankfully, you're able to right yourself quickly enough so that you don't end up in a heap. But you sort of instinctively turn around and you just see this probably quite sort of ashen-faced Claire behind you.
Does that just draw attention? Good work. But she's laughing. She doesn't really. It just kind of straightens her clothes and struts in.
I would say, yeah, probably instead of ashen, I would imagine Claire is actually like full red, like just beet red.
Yep.
Like,
no, that totally makes sense.
yeah, like her face looks like it's about to just like melt off. Like she's gotten like 3 days of sun with no sunblock.
I thought you grew up on a farm. It was a well-shaded farm.
Yeah,
Where's
very
that
well
natural
shaded.
tan?
You wear hats. We wear hats.
As you look around to kind of see if anyone noticed, your eyes happen upon the mug that Bardor is drinking from.
That's awesome.
She
As he doesn't care at all.
yeah, there's a bit of a double take there. She's looking between the mug and the bar. The mug and the bar. And then around, is there a display case? Is there a vendor? Where are they?
You do see behind the bar, there is a shelf that's like across the top above. It's like above the fancy drinks. There's a whole row of these. Different sizes, pints, half pints. There's one that is more akin to a bucket, all with the same sort of, there's the crest and then Day of Deliverance written underneath.
That part is still a little spooky to her. Like, that part still just freaks her out a little bit. But commemorative cups, though. Like, she is on board with this.
So where's Team Fancy Pants headed? Just to give you an idea, there's 12 tables. The door is essentially in the center, so you have 6 to the left, 6 to the right. There are 4 occupied tables. No, it'll be 5 now. Occupied tables to the right, and 2 to the left. One of the tables to the right is occupied by your friends, who have sat at a table close to 2 other occupied tables.
Does it look like there's waitresses, or do we go to the bar?
You see at the bar, Cullis and Ted are talking to a halfling, and there appears to be an older male chap who's puttering away behind the bar. And then suddenly you don't see him. He was there, and then suddenly he's gone. But looking around, you don't see anyone kind of milling around. So you think this could be a go up and grab situation.
I meant to ask too, did Silverius come in like before or after us?
He came in after. He just kind of watched that display and was just like kind of shook his head. He's thinking like, what is wrong with him? Like not even knowing that he put all the pressure on. But he's just observing right now. He looks through the room, kind of like sees where everyone's at. Did Cosette and Claire already, as they were leading, did they kind of pick a spot to head towards?
I guess we were looking around. I think we may just walk up to the bar and get a drink, because it seems like, just as she's like looking around at the tables and stuff, it looks like get one yourself. So maybe we just head straight there.
Yeah, I'll follow along, just kind of hanging back right now.
Yeah.
All right. So you head over to the bar, and so far as you can see, and I could probably Cosette, you can see that there's a trapdoor that's clearly open that leads down beneath. It's sort of behind the bar, and you kind of go over and sort of tap your hands a little bit. And eventually the halfling kind of excuses herself from talking to the other two and heads over. And says, well, welcome. What can I get for you all?
Claire has like both of her hands pressed together like they want to clap, but she's restraining herself from actually like clapping. Those cups up there, are those for sale?
Officially no. But carries downstairs, so if you make a good offer. She just kind of leaves that hanging in the air.
I'll be more than happy to make an offer when he comes up.
Oh, no, dear, you misunderstand. He won't sell it.
Oh,
I have to pretend to break it. And then you can buy it from me.
oh. And she just
Or
looks
you could
puzzled.
try and steal it, but then I'll have to get the guards involved.
No.
If one accidentally breaks, and she like does very elaborate like air quotes and winks at you, and you were to pay for the damages, that would be fine.
Oh. Well, if two were to maybe accidentally break, that would just be terrible, wouldn't it?
That would be a costly and tragic mistake.
And Claire tries to wink, and it's just a blink. It's just a full
tell me.
big-eyed blink.
She says, what would be worse, if pint glasses broke or half pints?
I think pints would probably be the worst.
Absolutely. Yes, that would be terrible. And she reaches behind her and gets this little contraption. It's like a metal arm that has like a little toggle at one end and little pincers at the other. And she just reaches up and grabs 2 pint glasses and brings them down, puts them on there's like, like a back counter, and she puts them on. And then looks over at you inquisitively.
Claire just nods enthusiastically.
Did you say something, Liz? I thought I heard you in the next room, but I didn't hear you on.
Oh, my thingy didn't click. Yeah, Claire just, she nods enthusiastically.
And then she politely coughs and raises an eyebrow.
Oh, do, She just kind of stares at her.
What are Cassette and Severus doing as this unfolds?
Cassette is looking as confused as I am about this situation. She doesn't know if she should intervene or what. She just is thirsty. Watching this negotiation or whatever this is. She's being polite, but just very confused.
What about Severus?
He's. I'm
He's
trying
really
to.
amused by these antics.
It's
all
an
it is.
observation for him.
Look, no one said Claire was good at deception or doing things that aren't technically legal.
He's Oh, go ahead.
Give me an insight roll for Claire.
$16.
Okay. You get the feeling that she would really, really like you to put some money down. That's she's sort of like that's what she's waiting on. It's taking a while to sink in, mind.
Yeah, you finally see the little light bulb click over her head. And she goes, "Oh, sorry." And she pulls out her pouch. And about how much would it be if those pint glasses just happened to fall on the floor?
Oh, that's an excellent question. How much do you think that would be?
I'm trying to remember how much she's paid for other things. Oh.
She just panic puts down like 50 gold.
She'll, let's see. She will pull out, we'll go with, want to be like, we'll pull out like 3 gold. And like,
Okay.
slide it onto the counter.
And Rosie, the barkeep looks over and says, "Oh no! I appear to have dropped a glass." And then she reaches over and grabs a regular glass and just like smashes it on the floor.
You see another like, kind of like moment behind her eyeballs. And she reaches into her pouch and slides across another 3 gold.
Oh, I'm all butterfingers as she drops another one. And then she just gets a little bit of cloth and carefully wraps up the 2 unshattered commemorative glasses and sets them on the counter and just slides the gold away and pops it in her pocket. Right. Goodness me. So clumsy today. And you hear a cough from downstairs as the sort of like sound of footsteps on wooden stairs as the dwarf reemerges. And Oh, what a mess. I guess I'll clean that up. So anyway, what are you drinking?
Do you have anything a little nicer?
Oh, certainly. We've got some very nice pear cider in right now. Of course, everybody's drinking the Potentate's brew. That's the one that you get with the mugs that unfortunately have just crashed. So those are two of our favourites right now. We do have some wine also. We've got some Waterdavian Reds that came in recently. A little bit pricier, but I can do those for you.
Cider works for me.
All right, not a problem. And for you, big man?
Whatever you would consider for your finest clientele.
Right. And he gets the little gripper again and grabs the grabs the handle of the novelty bucket and says, "You look thirsty." And starts pouring some of the amber Potentate's brew into that. No, I know what you're thinking, but actually, this stuff's pretty special. Don't you know? I know it comes in a silly, well, bucket, but I think you really like it. And for you, lass.
I would actually like to know, would Claire kind of be able to maybe tell, I guess, like, what is the like what would be kind of like the best quality, or like the maybe like the I'm trying to think of the right word. The highest like ABV.
That's my girl.
Yeah, I mean, the strongest stuff is gonna be like there's some bottles just underneath the novelty glasses that look like they would be sort of whiskeys and stuff like that.
Still more leaning towards like the brewed. I'm just trying to find ways.
I see what you mean.
I'm trying to find ways to always use my. I've not been able to use any of my proficiency yet.
I got you. Give me a. What would this be?
I don't know. I've just wanted to use it.
Yeah. No. I agree. I definitely approve of that. Give me a. I mean, you could use wisdom or intelligence for your brewer supplies, and give me a roll. Since this would be more like using your brewer's knowledge rather than the actual, like.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a dwarf we're talking about. She could probably use religion when it comes to brew.
Sure. I mean, it would be the same result, because it would be the same bonus probably.
Well, it
Or
does
survival,
say,
yeah.
It does say with let's see, gives you additional insight on history checks concerning events that involve alcohol.
Of course,
which is interesting.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Brewer supplies activity. There is an identify alcohol.
Okay. Interesting. Now, I mean, that to me seems like you'd literally have to sit down with your kit. Now, I mean, that's not to say that you can't, like, given that you grew up on a brewing farm, you would probably have a good feel for like what's strong and what's not. But yeah, so yeah, give me a roll, and you can probably eyeball whatever's the strongest stuff.
They're both the same, so I'll just click that.
That's staggering.
Wow. I'm killing it tonight. I really am.
Wow.
Like, I don't think I've ever seen this before.
I'd say you were drunk, but
She's too excited about the cups. She's just too
I
thrilled.
think that's probably true.
She's thinking about gifting Cater the cup and how excited he's gonna be. You know, it's just, yeah, it's too overwhelming for another commemorative cup for the collection.
Yeah. So for those listening, that was 2 1s on the dice. Remarkably. So yes, I think it's safe to say that you're just too distracted by your clearly illicit activities in obtaining by inappropriate means 2 very, very cool mugs. And that's completely thrown you off your attempts to figure out what's actually going on with the what's names, the drinks. But I mean, I will say even with 2 1s, just looking quickly at the 3 drinks that are immediately visible to you, the cider, the Potentate's Brew, and just looking to your left, you see a little ways down the bar, you see Colas with some sort of very dark drink. You'd imagine that what Colas is drinking is probably the strongest. Probably some sort of bitter type deal. It looks thick and strong.
Yeah, she'll go with what he's drinking.
All right. Does not come in a commemorative mug. But you are each set up. So Varys, you're given a small bucket.
Small bucket.
You would guess it's probably something like a half gallon, give or take.
Jesus.
Of Potentate's Brew. Cassette, you're given the pear cider. Claire, you get the bitter. And she says, so that would be 5 silver, please.
The settle pay.
As it's only right and all right. So, where are you going to stay at the bar, or are you going to move to a table?
I think we'll find a table.
Kind of in just a decent earshot range, I guess, of the goings on in here.
All right. Yep. Are you going to go what was originally the right side towards where the others are, or are you going to go head left?
I guess since we're supposed to not know each other in this situation, we should head to the opposite side where they are.
Left.
Yeah.
All right. And you do see there's a couple tables that are occupied, so you can kind of position yourself so where you might be able to hear some bits and pieces, maybe interact if you so chose.
Okay. I just want to face the door, the entrance.
Not a problem. That's definitely doable. Okay, let me have, assuming everyone is going to try and listen while sort of maintaining your own conversation. Let me have everyone please roll a perception check to see if you're able to pick up anything from the neighboring table.
Ooh,
13.
19 for Silvarius.
A 9. Because I'm doing great.
Just
tonight.
killing it.
Just
14.
Yeah.
You've got all your natural ones out.
Don't say that.
I'll take 3 rolls in a row.
15.
Okay. So, here's what you pick up. Claire, you don't get a lot. I'll be honest. There's still kind of like a little kind of nervous sweat dripping down your neck right now because you're worried that the dwarf behind the bar is going to figure out that the glasses that got broken weren't commemorative ones. And then he's going to start asking who's got some commemorative glasses on their person. And so you're a little hyper-focused on that. So you're just mostly trying to drink without looking guilty. And therefore it is difficult to pay attention to what's going on around you. Cassette. And Silveris. You do hear on one of the tables next to you, you hear some discussion about their deliverance. Some people talking about there's some discussion. There's a group of it's 2 humans and a tiefling. Humans have sort of like fairly drab clothes. The tiefling looks a little bit better off, a little bit swole, and is sort of boasting about his intent to enter into the solo combat tournament that will be taking place. You also pick up a very important detail. The day of deliverance is not today. The day of deliverance is not tomorrow. It is actually the 3rd of Uktar.
Are we in Uktar?
So, not yet. Today is the 30th of Marpana.
Okay.
I always forget. 30 or 31. What's the rhyme?
That depends on what finger.
I forget.
If it helps, the calendar of Harptos, Harptos, which is what Faerun follows. All the months only have 30 days.
Oh, that is such a simpler system.
Yes, but there are some holidays that fall between certain months. So there's like extra days that are just stuck in there. So for instance, there is the Feast of the Moon falls on what is, it's after Uktar 30th, but before Nightall 1st. It's a special bonus day in the middle. All of a sudden, calendar's not so convenient.
No.
But because obviously this is a locally celebrated festivity, it's not in the calendar of Harptos. It just falls on a regular, already scheduled day within the month. So it's the 3rd of Uktar. So it is 3 days away. So Varys, you're also pretty sure you hear the word joust, and you definitely hear something about prizes, and the tiefling says something about looking forward to winning so that he can claim the weapon that is awarded. You don't hear him say what it is. You just hear that there's some sort of weapon that is awarded to the winner of the solo combat tournament.
Ooh.
Eska, Badur, and Smokey. You hear... You've got a couple of tables nearby. You hear... you also pick up on the date of the festivities. One table, there's a couple elves talking, a couple of female elves. One of them, it sounds like maybe finishing up an outfit for one of the entrants in the joust. And they had ordered a very elaborate sort of tunic that would go over their armor. Seems to be some sort of highborn from somewhere on the Sword Coast. They've traveled a long way. That was the implication, and they arrived. They arrived by ship today, but they sent their order ahead of time to get it made there, so that it wouldn't risk being damaged during transit. You also hear that the grouse and mushroom stew is very tasty here. And you also hear at the other table, you hear just a faint whisper. And the whisper is about a group, an organization. You just hear the phrase "the calm" mentioned once or twice.
The what?
The calm.
Like calm.
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 Like,
Yes.
Like before the storm.
Yes, that type of calm. Stupid accent. Yes.
They're called the Calm, or
You think so?
okay.
It was there were so you had the table with the elves on one side of you, and then on the other side there's a group of it's a group of 4, 2 halflings, human, and a half orc. And they are having very quiet discussion over cups of potentate's brew, funnily enough. Although Bardor, you notice while they're talking, they're actually not ever drinking from the cups. Like, they have the cups in front of them, but they never drink from them. So, yeah, that is the things that you hear.
So if I could hone in a little bit more on that table,
Yes.
could I? Because I have the observant feat. Would I be able to read any more information? Get any more information by reading their lips?
You absolutely would. Yes, once you sort of focus in on that, make a stealth check for me. This is to sort of see how well you can look without them noticing that you're looking.
16.
Okay. So you You do pick up a little bit more. You you get the well, what they say is that there's another meeting tonight. That actual meeting place is still not known, but they have to go to the Cup and Rat in Dark Orchard, and they'll find the meeting place out there. But it'll be after dark, somewhere outside the city, either in Dark Orchard or possibly even as far as West Meanderings.
Somewhere in Dark Orchard or West Meanderings.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So they're not drinking at all.
They are not drinking at all.
So I would share what I saw with Reading Lips too, very quietly with Ardor and Eska.
I'll respond with the drinking and them not drinking, and I'll be like, "What? Why would you order the drink and then not drink it?"
Maybe
It's
this
very
is something
puzzling.
we need to know about. Maybe this is an in to more information.
It could be, though, that this could be some other weird thing that's going on that has nothing to do with this, what we're after, too.
Yep. But we are going to be here tonight.
I guess it's something to do.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not sure the others would agree this was a good idea.
To investigate these further.
Yes.
Well, as you say, this could be something that could be beneficial, maybe not, but you don't know unless you investigate.
I agree. I would like to investigate. I guess we can gauge their reaction.
So, how long are you guys planning on staying in the bar? You know, it's probably close to about 4, so kind of late afternoon right now.
I don't imagine super long. Especially if it's not like a constantly shifting tapestry of people because, you know, your usefulness of information, I guess, is gradually gonna go down if it's sort of the same sort of groups, not changing all that much.
Yeah, so I mean, I would say probably about 10 minutes or so after you guys arrive, that group of 4 that you kind of mostly focused on, they head out. Drinks still untouched. The 2 elves seem like they're quite happy. Revival looks like they're drinking the ciders. After a while, they go up, get a couple more, and sit back down, and they seem happy, just sort of nattering about designs and maybe getting opportunity to meet some of the more famous people who are coming into town, since they sort of have an element of access based on their craft. On the other side of the bar, there's the tiefling and his friends. They look like they're probably in for a long time. They eventually order some food, and
do our new
least a couple
friends look like they are still persevering, or do they look like they get bored as well?
up at a bar.
Yeah.
They sort of run out of conversation with the bar staff. They don't seem upset to be sitting in a bar drinking. You get the feeling they may have stopped trying to get information and may just be drinking at this point.
I do think once it felt like things were kind of getting slack, Eska might look to try and get up and head out. But
I would
did the other
definitely
three
want to
look?
make sure my drink was empty. That I had finished my drink.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that being a problem.
Do the other 3 look like they are bored as well? Or do they look like they're still engaged?
Well, so far as he's got a with his bucket, he's gonna kind of half like pour it into his dragon-shaped maw. And he'll put it down, and he does say over to his immediate company,
Did you hear that? As well, the day of deliverance is 3 days from now.
So the festival just must lead up to it.
A pre-celebration? I really dislike not knowing. Frankly, everything.
he takes another big swig of his.
Set avoids the obvious joke there and presses on. And yeah, she'll just kind of say, like, I guess we need to talk and see the repairs may, so we're stuck here for a little bit, but it's much further than, or much longer than it's planned, I'm sure.
If they begin to sort of give glances our way, Eska will sort of glance at the door.
Yeah, I think they're kind of back up.
Actually, Cassette, I'm going to need you to make an insight check. Because Eska's making gesticulations again.
Oh gosh, okay.
Eska's running her hand across her throat.
22 natural 20. We're killing Silverius. This is it, finally?
Yes.
This is the 6th?
It's time.
This is the sixth.
So far, he draws a sword.
Does he have one?
Not yet. He's drawing it with a napkin and a pencil.
I gotcha.
He flips the table over and rips a leg off the.
Off an elf.
I really know how to pace my 20s, and really use them.
When it matters most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do indeed know that Eska's ready to go.
Okay, cool.
Wait, is Eska ready to just go, or does Eska need to go?
Who can tell?
Well,
I was a natural 20.
I think I got the
Yeah,
exact
like-
I
meaning
think-
out of it.
Yeah.
I think Cosette knows exactly when Eska needs to go.
She holds
Probably
it,
better than Eska does.
Builds fingers up for. Okay, let's go. And all the tables get up and use.
Yeah, we don't know each other. It's just coincidence.
We all get up and then like parts of each party sit back down. And it's like this really weird.
Ends up
Eska,
looking a bit like a sort of whack-a-mole thing where
Eska will
everyone's, like,
say,
popping up.
shall we go?
I think we have learned all that we can for now.
And she'll get up and start to head out.
Alrighty.
Smokey will follow.
Yeah, me as well.
Bye, Bada.
I said I'd follow.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
That's okay. I'm fine. I'll just stay here and drink.
I'm assuming you guys just probably loiter out on the street a little ways down,
Yeah.
and you can kind of all reconvene. Teta and Colas are the last ones out.
Because this is a lot less conspicuous than us all going into the bar together, as us just hovering out in the street talking in a group together.
I mean, if it helps, we're not talking. We're just standing around.
Everybody's just looking at their non-existent watches.
Yeah, I
and-
was like more conspicuous is us just all standing around, not making eye contact, not talking, but in a group.
Yep.
It does seem like Teta might be a little tipsy.
I was gonna say, how tipsy do the two of them look?
Colas looks maybe a little surlier. Teta looks a little tipsy.
This gnomes, man, they just don't got the body volume.
He's only doing half pints too. Apparently he needed thirds or quarters.
Was the pear cider good?
And the
Let's see.
potentate's brew.
Yeah, what would
Sounded
how would we
good.
review?
Like I wanted a pear cider after I heard that.
Pear cider. Oh, dear, did I?
I mean, Parasita's got to be better than the 7th.
Yeah, what's its modifier?
Plus 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, pear cider was good. I'm gonna disagree with the dice. The potentate's brew was actually very pleasant. It had it had an interesting warmth to it. It was like some interesting mixture of spices in there that kind of so Varys, you would probably feel this the most because of your lineage. It makes you think of Dragonfire. You know it's not Dragonfire. It's clearly not Dragonfire. But there's something about the way it just kind of like warms in you that stirs this very primeval instinct. Even though, you know, you're not a red dragon. You're not one of those. But at the same time, there's a part of you that when you drink it, just kind of makes you want to go around rampaging and breathing fire everywhere. Not actually,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like it's just it calls to that sort of very primal feeling in you. Bardor, you experience that on a less primal sense. But it still has like a nice warming, fiery kind of swirl in you. Just less rampagey.
Impressive.
But yeah. So, but yeah, no, the pear cider was crisp and refreshing and cool. You would note too. This was not warm drink. This was cooled via some means. The Potentate's brew was not as cool. But you suspect that was probably part of the design, given that it's kind of meant to evoke the fiery nature of dragons.
Very nice.
Some dragons. So yes, the 8 of you gather mostly successfully vertically. Tedda's like a couple of degrees off vertical. Yeah, you what's the plan? It's sort of probably getting towards evening-ish now. Or early evening, sort of dinner time-ish.
Shall we check in with the captain?
I was thinking it was about time.
I will lead the way.
Guess we'll start heading that way. Unless anybody else says anything. And I reckon that we share
Good
information.
plan. Yeah, probably share info on the way.
Yeah, and while
Do
we're-
you share info inside the walls or outside the walls?
Outside of earshot?
Look, all I'm saying is they didn't drink their beer. Okay?
They're
That's
weird.
If we can't get any distance from anybody, then probably hold off till outside the walls. But if we get into a clear space where there's nobody close by,
The best route for you to head back would be probably taking that path you took initially, the one that sort of like walks along the edge of the river. And there would probably be little moments where it's, less crowded, less bustly. Smokey, you leading the way?
Yeah,
Or did you say lead the way?
He said he would lead the way.
Okay. Alrighty. But yeah, so you probably would have opportunity to exchange information as you're going. Anyone doing anything on the trip aside from a little bit of information sharing?
Let's keep an eye out for anything going on around us.
Okay.
Release.
I'd probably help him with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to look to see if there was any posters or any of it. Like, I don't need to ask anybody, but just now that we have a little bit more information about the combat tournament, so just see if there's happens to be anything that we see on a advertisement or flyer with times or places or just any details that we pick up easily, not like wasting anybody's time.
A leaflet or
Yeah.
a pamphlet.
Yeah, exactly. Or like a map or a
a
QR
tour map.
code to scan
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
A QR
Kiosk, gotcha.
code.
Okay. Yes, there's a poster. Bard or Severus, either one of you make perception with advantage or both make perception checks. While you're doing that, yes, there is a poster. And it says very largely on the day of deliverance. It says underneath Oakjaw Third. And it funnily enough, outlines a lot of what you were told on the by the guard. So it says, you know, mid-morning parade, starting in the hold on, what's the name of that one? Bear with me, I've got to find the right thing now. Hold on. I have too many things. Not too many. I just want to get the right name. You. Why aren't you? I see why. Oh, sorry. There we go. So starting at the wind gate. And moving all the way through to the Great Green. So that's the first thing it says. Underneath, there's the Tournament of the Joust. It says early afternoon, and then late afternoon is the Tournament of Solo Combat. They haven't come up with a good name for that, unfortunately.
Oh, those are different. Okay.
And you do see in small writing underneath, it says fantastic prizes for the final 3 combatants in each. And then at the bottom it just says, and fun for all the family, the hunt for the dragon's hoard, starting at dawn. It doesn't give any details about that. It just says, hunt for the dragon's hoard. So that you do see, the posters aren't very... Now that you're kind of looking for them, it's quite large. And you can definitely see it.
Okay. Cool.
So
I rolled a 22.
Can I give you advantage on that roll? I'm
Yeah,
kind of talking to you about before I'm bringing you up to speed with like the halfling that I saw. Maybe it was by chance. Maybe it was something.
Was it that halfling that he saw similar to the halfling that I saw?
By description?
you would say probably similar.
Okay. I will say that sounds weird. 22.
Okay. So as you are heading past the Wormspire and back sort of like towards the Bridge of Scales, a couple things. One, you think at one point you see a halfling that feels a lot like that halfling from before, like 2 streets over. As you're like heading down the that Riverside Street, you get to a point where like one of the streets heads off to the right, and really feels like, if it's not that same halfling, it's someone very similar. Again, like fairly pale skin, brown hair, possibly even a frown. Hard to say for sure, because it's just a brief glimpse. You also, so Virus, I would say, as you're both looking up, you would also clock that there is a down the road a little ways from the ridiculously overpriced sword weapon smith. You do see another weaponsmith, armorer type person shop. You just sort of like see the sign and catch the name. is the Hammer and Hearth is the name of the place. And so where you came out on River Street initially, I think it's River Street. It's just like the place with the really expensive stuff is just north of the Bridge of Scales, and that's kind of where you came out onto River Street. If you were to head further down River Street towards the wall, that's where you can see the sign for the Hammer and Hearth. And looks to be, again, like some other sort of armorer, weaponsmith, something like that. So you do clock that and kind of make a mental note for later.
We only went in the expensive one, right?
You did.
Okay.
Yes. You didn't know that. You didn't even see the other one.
Okay.
Because you kind of came out and turned left along the river, and so it would have been to your right as you kind of got to the river.
I would like try to let the party know, kind of like say pass it on without like making it too obvious that we seem to be followed by and watched by the same halfling, and they are sticking to us in multiple areas of the city.
And eventually, you make it back to the gate. You notice there's no one gets stopped leaving the city. Cosette, you note with dismay a familiar guard at the gate.
Dude's not off shift yet.
Sadly not. You can probably take comfort from the fact that he's still working. And you've been gallivanting around town all day. He's still stuck here at the same gate.
Okay. It's fair, I guess.
But eventually you head outside through the gate beyond the towering walls and heading back towards Dark Orchard.
Question when leaving, real quick. When
Yes.
when leaving, how much of a gap was there between where we came in and where we left? And were there weave worms also on the exit?
So you would be, you'd be going out the same gate.
Same. Okay, it's not like a gate like down the way or anything, but it's kind of like
Yeah, it's the same. The north gate.
gotcha. Okay.
is the one that's sort of like on that side of the river. That's the only one that kind of leads out in that general direction.
Okay.
I don't know if you probably would have been able to at one point seen that it looked like there was probably one on the other side of the river that kind of joins the inside and outside of the walls there. There's clearly stuff built up on the other side of the river. That sort of like connects the light docks area to whatever's outside it. Outside the walls there. But yes. And yes, there is a there is one weave worm. Along with the is probably what would it be like 4 guards now stationed at the bottom of the gate, and another 3, maybe 4 on the walls above the gate itself. And yeah, one weave worm that's sort of like just chilling in the shadow of the gate itself. Because it's sort of like the classic like like a double portcullis type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, if I remember correctly, I said there were like big doors, but then there's also the double portcullis. So it's a fairly wide gatehouse, and the weave worm is sort of inside that, like in between where the portcullises would fall. Yeah. So You are now, yeah, 30 to 40 minutes away from, I don't know, downtown Dark Orchard, for want of a better phrase. And that would get you back towards where the ship is, where the Cup and Rat was, where you met Colas and Teta originally, where the slightly crazy halfling trader was. All sorts of things available.
I think we just keep heading that way.
Okay. So are you heading straight to the ship?
That was Smokey's intention, yeah.
Okay. Not a problem. So we'll say that you're able to, without any real issue, head back through along the river, and you kind of see there's a lot of clustered buildings outside the walls, and it just gets sort of less and less dense as you get further down the river. There's a bit of space between the buildings eventually. The quality of the building materials drops off a little bit. There's less stone, more wood, that sort of thing. Eventually you get back to the bridge where you crossed previously. So you do not see the trader right now. You see the cart, but it's all like closed down at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, you walk past the tavern up into the docks. You do see there's the guy who sort of like oversees the docks, who I think you saw. I think Marka was talking to when you pulled in. Is there just like leafing through some papers, and you see the ship, and as you approach you can see that there's still some holes that are being, you can hear a hammer going to work from the ship, and you see you don't see Captain Adder, but you see Marka, who currently is just sitting on the forecastle on a chair that seems to have been brought up from somewhere, presumably somewhere in the hold. And it's just like sitting there, has some sort of large piece of parchment, is vaguely paying attention to that, and gives you a little wave. It says, "Oh, welcome back."
Hello. Where is the captain?
Oh, Captain's helping below deck. I've got the honor of making sure no one tries to steal the ship while they're working on it.
How are the repairs coming along?
Well, they're not done, but they're getting there. If you wanted to go down and help, I'm sure that would be appreciated.
Okay, I will go speak with the captain.
Righto. You guys coming aboard too? And then there's like a moment of, hang on, were there 5 of you earlier? No, there's 7. And kind of looks quizzically at Colas and Tata, who have just been sort of like towing along.
Yeah, this happens with us. Hang out with us for a little while.
The guests are only temporary.
I'd say it'd cost you extra, but you guys didn't pay for this anyway. I'll make a note to talk to Hazim. Alright, welcome strangers. Don't break the ship. Best go introduce yourselves to the captain, I suppose. And, yeah. Suffice to say, I don't think we're ready to take off tonight, but, I don't know, maybe tomorrow we'll be ready. But you can take that up to the captain. And, Marcus sort of gestures for you to head below deck. And we'll pick up next time with everyone. Well, some of everyone. I don't know who's going down there. An amount of people will be heading down into the hole.